Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, welcome. To my new subscribers, thank you so much. I appreciate you subscribing. Oh, I'm just so grateful. I wish you knew. Today, this is the subject I've been trying to get to for like 2 weeks. But I often have plans and Spirit has other plans for me. So this is the 5 stages of spiritual awakening and the signs from your parallel self. Okay? So have you ever felt a profound shift in your life? Like you're awakening to a new understanding of who you are and how you exist in this world? Or has something major happened to you that has shaken your belief system and made you think again about the things that you were taught to believe when you were a child or within your family, and you've asked yourself, does this really work, or how is this working for me? Well, today I may be able to provide you with some answers. And spiritual awakening isn't a straight line. Oh my goodness, I've been on this journey since I was a young child. You know, I always knew that I saw things. You may hear the term a lot. I'm just looking at Finn, moving around. Sorry. You may hear the term a lot, from behind the veil or the thinning of the veil. And what that means is that more people are seeing stuff in other dimensions. That's what that means. So when I speak about stuff from beyond the veil or on the other side of the veil, that's all that I mean, is that I'm able to see and sense things in another dimension. And we all have these gifts. So I am nobody special by any stretch of the imagination. It's just, I'm not a special person. I'm just me. Okay? Spiritual awakening isn't a straight line. As I was saying, I've been on this journey since I was very young. I always question, and my mom actually bought me an Every Child's Answer book. I will never forget that. For one of the holidays on my birthday, that's what she gave me, because I always want to know about why and how, So I've had so many challenges in my life. I've had mountaintop moments and so much time in the valley. And I must tell you, it's never in a straight line. It's more like a spiral. Sometimes it's gentle. Sometimes it's really intense. And we move through each stage differently. The way that I may move through the stage of spiritual awakening may be very different to the way that you would, sorry, I was fiddling with my sound, will be very different to the way that you will move through it. Some loop back and have to relearn some of the lessons, and others skip ahead. To me, it often seems like some people get away with a lot of things, and the slightest infraction that I make. I used to say when I was younger that God hated me, because I'd watch people get away with a lot of stuff, and it's like I was slapped down instantly. I don't know whether you've ever experienced that. There is no wrong way, but the stages themselves often share common themes. So today I want to walk you through the 5 stages of spiritual awakening, and then take you even deeper into a conversation about parallel realities, synchronicities, and how higher versions of yourself may be sending you messages right now. So I don't think it's any coincidence that you have found this video today. So let's begin. Stage 1. I'm going to call that the unconscious self. At the start of this journey, many of us live completely identified with the ego. And I like to call the ego E, edging, G, God, E-G-O out, ego, edging God out. I've done that a whole lot throughout my life, actually. Oh, and by the way, it is Friday, the 11th of April, and the time in the Netherlands is 7:05 p.m. So yeah, we are. Our thoughts and emotions run the show. We react to life rather than create it. We view life as something that happens to us, not something we shape or we influence. And this stage is filled with defensiveness, frustration, and often trauma. We don't yet see that we are not our pain, not our stories, oh my, and not our projections. Other people are hard to truly see at this stage because everything gets filtered through our own wounds. And all of us have been wounded. Our souls, before we come here to the earth plane, I believe we choose our parents and some of the lessons in life. I don't think that we don't just happen to be here by happenstance. It is by divine calling and order. So other people are hard to fully see at this stage because everything is filtered through our own wounds and our own hurts. But the moment we realize we are unconscious is when the journey begins. So stage 2 is ego death. And this, for me in particular, I will speak for myself. It has been so difficult because I learned a long time ago, when I see someone and I make a judgment immediately, it means that my heart is already closed. Okay? So for myself, that has not been an easy part of my journey. And this stage is not easy, the ego death. Ego death is the breakdown of everything we believed ourselves to be, right? Our roles, our titles, our identities. It is not a physical death, but an emotional and psychological surrender. That's what that is about, right? We begin to see that the story we've built around ourselves was never the full truth. That the ego is a construct shaped by society. Yeah, society shapes us, you know. We have to walk a certain way, look a certain way, do our hair a certain way, speak in a certain manner, right? So we begin to see the story we've built around ourselves was never the full truth. That the ego is a construct shaped by society. I'm really meant to say that twice. It's no mistake that I'm repeating this. By trauma and by expectation. Right? We have unrealistic expectations of ourselves, and therefore sometimes we have those expectations of the people that we meet and our children and our friends and so on. And in its place emerges something new, the observer self, the part of us that watches, that knows, and that feels without getting lost. And this is where truth begins to take root. Stage 3 is the search. Once the ego dissolves, oh my gosh, for me, it has not been easy to dissolve that ego. That's why it took me so long to step onto this platform and start sharing with you what I know that Spirit has called me to do such a long time ago. So stage 3 is the search. Once the ego dissolves, we begin to search. We hunger for truth, for purpose, and for God. We read books, we study teachings, we watch videos. Oh my gosh, I've done the whole gamut. Like this one, right? You watch videos like this one. We meditate, we pray, we journal, we listen, we seek. And this, my dear friends, precious souls, this is not an intellectual search. It is a heartfelt one. We want to understand why we are here, what our soul came to learn, and how we can align with our higher purpose or with a higher purpose. Okay? In this stage, we begin to find breadcrumbs like Hansel and Gretel. Oh my. Little breadcrumbs, messages, insights, moments of light. Then the search becomes the teacher. Okay? Stage 4, the emergence of the authentic self. Wow. Oh, none of this is easy. And remember, it's not a straight line. It's up and down. It is in a goes in a spiral. Sometimes we fall back and then we step forward a few steps. It just is. So stage 4, when the emergence of the authentic self comes through, something really begins to shift. We stop pretending. We stop forcing ourselves into roles or relationships that no longer fit. This is when we start to shed people, places, things, careers that we are not happy in. Some of us sooner than others a lot later. Yeah, I've been a hard-headed one. It's taken me a while. And we remember who we are and who we were before the world told us who we should be. We all let go of jobs that drain us. I just said that, right? We step away from unbalanced dynamics and we reclaim our voice, and we become deeply, painfully, beautifully honest. Oh, Spirit is just telling me that this is a specific message that someone out there, I don't know if your name is Joe or Joanna, you have been diagnosed with cancer of the esophagus. And it's because you were never allowed to speak up for yourself. You were afraid. You were always told to shut up. You had a big mouth. You could never express yourself. And Spirit wants you to know that you are going to be all right and that you need to start speaking up for yourself. And even now, if you should lose your speech, your ability to speak for a little bit, or a little while, you need to write things down and really tell people what it is and how you're feeling. Oh, thank you, Joe or Joanna. And you will have a good team of doctors, the right team. I know you are feeling afraid of what tomorrow brings, and that's why you are here for this message today. If this message only reaches you, that will be enough for me. Thank you. So again, we remember who we were before the world told us who we should be. So we let go of the jobs that drain us. We step away from unbalanced dynamics. We reclaim our voice and we become deeply, painfully, and beautifully honest. And sometimes this stage is so messy. It brings upheaval. It brings tears. It brings courage. It also unseats fear, the fear of hurting other people's feelings, because you've considered others so much that you've forgotten about yourself. Your voice has been shut down. You've sacrificed so much for others, and you are empty, that there's nothing left for you. And this is where it gets so messy. We begin to live from our truth. This is where we begin to live from our truth, not for approval, not for validation, but because we can no longer be anyone else. My goodness, it is always so difficult. I would always say it's so difficult being me. how can I possibly be anyone else or even try to be anyone else? And I'm sure that many of you, please let me know in the comments, if you feel this way too. And then stage 5 is the stage of alignment. And this is where the peace begins. Now, I've gone back and forth through stages 4 and 5 a whole lot, but I can only speak for myself. And this is why I'm sharing this with you in the hopes that will help you to understand, no, you haven't lost your mind. No, you're not crazy. This is just the path. Spirit has started to answer some of the questions, and the path is beginning to define itself. Spirit is shining the light at your feet. Or you may have friends that love you dearly and that are shining the light sometimes during the darkest days of your life. Okay? So stage 5 is the alignment, and this is where peace begins. Alignment is not perfection, though. It is integration. It's the understanding that we are whole, even in our flaws, that we are connected to each other, to the earth, to something greater. In alignment, we become our own nurturers. Oh my gosh, it takes so many of us such a long time to come to this space or this place. And then we go back. And then we have to start nurturing ourselves again. We get sucked right back into sometimes family dramas and people that are seeking help. And it's just sometimes, well, I speak for myself, it seems like a never-ending cycle. So in alignment, we become our own nurturers and our own safe space. Let me tell you, that's such a beautiful thing. We embrace our authentic self and we begin to radiate that love outward. So we no longer care at this point what anyone thinks or says about us. We know how to ask for our privacy. We know how to respect other people's privacy. It becomes easier for us to put up not barriers, not walls. What is the word that I'm looking for? To demand a certain amount of respect of our time. We become a little more mindful of with whom we spend our time and with whom we connect with. And then we forgive more easily. Oh, this is the stage where you start to forgive your parents. You begin to realize that what they did and the struggles that they had and some of the suffering that we feel that was imposed upon us by them. And many of you have experienced some real cruelty from parents and really put into difficult spaces and places. So we tend to forgive more easily. We judge less and we start to live more fully. And then something else happens. The expansion. We parallel realities and messages from your higher self start to come in. And what if I told you that there are versions of you living in parallel realities who are trying to guide you right now? So the small, still voice that you hear, that you sense, sometimes you don't quite hear it, but you sense it and you know that you know that you know that you know, right? In quantum physics, I love quantum physics, and string theory is my thing. It has been for a while. I've just been obsessed with it. And quantum physics suggests that multiple realities can exist at once, each shaped by the choices we've made or the choices that we haven't made. Because remember, even when you choose not to do anything, even when you choose not to make a choice, that is still a choice. And so have you ever felt deja vu? That strange familiarity, like you've lived a moment before, or experienced repeated synchronicities, numbers, symbols, messages that seem too precise to be random. And that, my darlings, is not your imagination. And these may not be coincidences. There may be messages from you, another version of you. And then the signs from your parallel self. Number one is synchronicities. When you repeatedly see the same symbols, patterns, or messages, these are breadcrumbs from another version of you, pointing towards your alignment. And then number two, dreams and lucid dreams, particularly vivid dreams, may be experiences lived by another version of you. Lucid dreams allow you to consciously explore those realities. And then number three, feeling out of place. Oh, I've suffered with this all of my life. But this is not about me. I'm speaking with you today, helping you on your way. Number three is feeling out of place. Moments where reality feels unfamiliar, like you don't quite belong in the moment. This can be an overlap of dimensions, your consciousness tuning into another timeline. Very interesting, isn't it? And then number four, sudden shifts in behavior, new interests, habits or instincts may be influenced by a version of yourself, a version of you that has already embraced these choices, right? And then number five is your intuition, which we always have, but it gets bred out of us as children. Oh, that's just your imagination. He's got or she has an imaginary friend. Done by adults. So by about 7 years old, a lot of us learn not to listen to that intuition. And that intuition is that deep inner knowing. It might be your higher self or a parallel you, guiding you toward your truest path. And then aligning with the higher version of you. So your question may be, how do we tune into these parallel versions and integrate their wisdom? How do we do that? So how do we tune into these parallel versions and integrate their, wisdom? It begins with vibrational alignment. Thoughts, emotions, and intentions all carry frequency. So our thoughts are things. The version of you who is peaceful, powerful, and free already exists. You just have to raise your vibration to meet them. The version of you who is peaceful, powerful, and free already exists. You have to just raise your vibration to meet them. You may say, Nola, how do we do that? The first thing is gratitude. The second thing is forgiveness. And then we have compassion. Start with compassion for yourself. Right? And then conscious choices in food. I shouldn't even speak on this food thing. Conscious choices in food, words, and in thoughts. And daily meditation and reflection. And I've said before that not everyone can sit down and be quiet and still and meditate. But if you take a walk in the woods, you hug a tree, play with an animal, if you do some crocheting or knitting or play a game of cards, those are all forms of meditation. So daily meditation and reflection. And then you start living with intention. I like to get up in the morning, and I used to say to my late husband, so what's the plan for today? I am really organized, and that's just how I was. I was a AAA personality. So when you start to live with the intention, every time you make a small shift, every time you listen to your intuition, you move closer to that parallel you who is already living in alignment. And so my closing message is that you are not broken. You are breaking open. The signs are there. The guidance is there. The wisdom is already within you. And through every shift, every lesson, and every synchronicity, you are stepping into the fullness of who you are meant to be across time, space, and all the dimensions. Thank you for walking this path with me. Thank you for being here today. And if this message has resonated with you, I invite you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. You never know who may need to hear this today. And to like and to share and subscribe, it's free. I'm not asking you for anything. So, until the next time, do take care of yourself. Have a wonderful weekend. It's Friday evening here in the Netherlands, April the 11th, and the time is now 7:26 p.m. This will be live in America tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or New York time, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Until then, do take care of yourself. Remember that kindness is really important, because each and every one of us is dealing with something that nobody else knows about. Thank you for being here today, and bye for now.